There was a time when I made more money than my old self could have ever dreamed of. But then, one day, I sat in a luxury hotel, eating a $300 steak, staring out at the ocean, and I asked myself, is this success? Then, why do I still feel empty? That was the moment I realized. Money means nothing if you don't understand how it truly works. And in this video, I'm going to share 14 powerful money principles that took me from a 22-year-old drowning in debt to someone who now gets to live life fully aligned with his values. Principle number 1. Spend less than you earn. Sounds old, but it's the foundation. I know you've probably heard this 100 times, but trust me, most people still don't actually live by it. I didn't either. The first time I got a $20,000 paycheck, I thought I was a king. I took my younger brother skiing, booked 5-star hotels, bought drinks for the whole crew, and within just 10 days, I had blown through $133,000, and I didn't even think about taxes. I was drunk on money, and the price I paid? Painful. Thankfully, a mentor pulled me aside and said, "It's not your income that determines your wealth, it's your spending habits." From that moment on, I started living radically simple, not because I was broke, but because I was saving up for something more powerful than possessions: freedom. Then one day, I asked myself, if I'm saving money, what should I actually do with it? Should I stash it in a bank, put it into stocks, buy nice things for myself? The answer to that question changed the direction of my life. And that's what I'm about to share with you. Principle number 2. Pay yourself first. Turn you into a profitable asset. When I started setting aside 25% of my income for myself, not to spend, but to upgrade who I was, everything started to shift. I bought books. I learned new skills. I hired help to save time. I invested in productivity tools and software. And in just 9 months, my income tripled. Not because I worked harder, but because I became more valuable. You are not a cost. You are an asset. And investing in yourself, that's the highest compounding investment on earth. But as your value grows, a new problem appears. Opportunities start flying at you from every direction. Invitations, projects, partnerships. Everything seems exciting, everything feels urgent, and if you don't learn how to prioritize, you'll end up chasing everything and getting nowhere. That's when you need to master one of the most important skills of the wealthy, a skill I call the compass of focus. And that's exactly what I'll share next. Principle number 3. Set clear priorities, don't diversify until you master one thing. When I first started out, I made a rookie mistake. I said yes to everything. Web design, a coffee shop, crypto investments, drop shipping stores, every shiny new opportunity, I chased it. The result? I was average at everything and excellent at nothing. My time was shattered into dozens of pieces. Then one day, I spoke with a veteran investor. He looked me straight in the eye and said, "Don't diversify until you're great at something. Become a specialist, and the right opportunities will chase you." That hit me like a truck, so I went back to my core skill, programming. I focused so deeply that eventually people started bringing me money and asking me to build software for them. I didn't have to pitch. I didn't have to chase. It reminded me of something Warren Buffett once said: "Focus so intensely that the world's best opportunities come knocking." Number 1, once you lock in your focus and direction, there's one more thing you'll need: a survival plan for when life punches you in the face. Because no matter how smart or prepared you are, every money journey will face storms. And what you do in those storms is what I'm about to reveal next. Principle number 4. Always have an exit plan. When everything collapses, you still stand. Imagine you're climbing the financial mountain. Money's coming in, your investments are growing, life is finally gaining momentum. Then one day, the market crashes, a key contract falls through, a family member faces a health crisis, and everything you've built could come crumbling down. if you're not prepared. I say this because I've lived it. A few years ago, one of my companies got caught in a massive industry-wide downturn. In just 30 days, revenue dropped by 80%. Founders I knew panicked. They started firing people, selling off assets, cutting everything just to survive. But me? I simply opened the emergency plan I had written 2 years earlier, a worst-case scenario guide, a survival budget, a list of emotion-free decisions already made. Like Jim Rohn once said, don't start your day until you've finished it on paper. I call it the RIP cord budget, your financial parachute. When chaos hits, you don't panic, you pull the cord and execute. Personal emergency fund, at least 3 to 6 months of minimalist living expenses. Business emergency fund, 1 to 3 months of essential operations, depending on flexibility. Rises action checklist, /costs, pause risky investments, preserve cash flow. Pre-tough calls, so you never have to make emotional decisions under pressure. And here's the truth. When you know you can survive the worst, you start playing bigger. You take bolder bets. You expand. You invest more confidently. You stop playing not to lose and start playing to win. But when you operate on that higher level, when you've got your plan B locked in, something new starts to show up. A loan offer, an investor deal, an expanded credit line, a partnership opportunity. Now the question becomes, should you borrow? Should you use other people's money to scale faster? That's what I'm about to break down next. Principle number 5, only borrow money if it helps you make more money. I made this mistake once, and it cost me 3 years of regret. At the time, I had just hit my first stable income milestone. I felt on top of the world. I thought, this is it. I've made it. I didn't want to live like a scrappy startup anymore. I wanted to level up. So I took out loans to buy new furniture, a high-end TV, and even upgraded my car. The result? I lost control of my cash flow. I was working just to pay off the past, and none of those purchases made me a single extra dollar. At the same time, I had a friend, same age, same situation, who also borrowed money, but he used it differently. He used his loan to hire help to speed up a new product launch, run ads for his first online course, pay for 3 months of coaching with a mentor I thought was ridiculously expensive. 6 months later, he was making 5 times more than I was. And me? I was still trying to pay off a leather sofa no one cared about but me. The smart debt strategy. Only borrow money when these 3 conditions are true. 1. He output. A clear product or service exists. 2. You contain ROI. You're not just guessing or hoping. 3. You're minimized to lose a little to learn a lot. Test small before going big. I call this the bullets before cannonballs. Small test, fast learning, scalable upside. Debt should be a lever, not a leash. It should accelerate your income, not drag you backwards. Now let's say you're gaining momentum. You've got more capital, more options, and more responsibility. So how do you grow your wealth without blindly walking into high-risk traps? The answer? It lies in mastering the art of risk and reward. And that's exactly what I'll share with you in principle number 6. Principle number 6. Analyze risk versus reward, like a smart investor. We've talked about using money as a tool to grow your income and invest in yourself. But once money starts coming in, a bigger question shows up. What should you actually do with it? The world is full of opportunities, but which ones are golden, and which are just gold-plated traps? Smart investors don't chase the first shiny thing. They pause. They ask, what are the risks? What are the rewards? And is the ratio between the two worth it? A real example. A friend of mine, he's a software developer, once had around $2,000 saved up. That's right of the crick 50 million VND. He had 2 options. In a trendy cafe project a friend invited him into. In a small e-commerce site. It had consistent traffic, but poor operations. The cafe sounded fun, cool vibes, meetups, big potential. But here's the truth. He knew nothing about F&B. No clue about logistics, margins, or staff issues. The e-commerce site? Not glamorous. But he knew digital marketing. He knew conversion rates. He knew tech. So he chose the second one. 3 months later, revenue doubled. 6 months later, profits nearly quadrupled. Why? Because he invested in what he understood and what he could control. Before you invest, ask yourself, do I really understand what I'm putting money into? What parts can I control? If the worst-case scenario happens, can I survive it? If the best-case scenario happens, does the reward justify the risk? Most people make the mistake of chasing returns while ignoring risk. But wealthy people, they zoom out. They only act when the odds are truly in their favor. Smart investing isn't about avoiding all risks. It's about choosing the right risks. But here's the twist. Even if you get really good at analyzing risk versus reward, even if you have the tools, the strategies, the perfect plan, it won't matter if deep down you're still afraid of money. And that's the truth most people never face. Because buried inside us, often since childhood, are limiting beliefs about wealth. Ideas like, money is the root of all evil, rich people are greedy, I'm not meant to be successful. And unless we challenge those beliefs, no investment strategy will take you far. So in principle number 7, we're going to do something powerful. We'll break through the fear of money and rewire the way you think about wealth forever. Principle number 7. Overcome your fear of money and break limiting beliefs. Take a moment and ask yourself, what are you really afraid of when it comes to money? You might say, I'm not afraid. I just want more of it. But here's the truth. Most of us carry silent wounds about money that we're not even aware of. Maybe as a kid, you overheard your parents fighting about money. Maybe you were judged or looked down on because you were poor. Or worse, maybe you heard people talk about the rich like they were villains. Rich people are greedy. If you have money, you probably did something shady. People will hate you if you're too successful. Wealth isn't meant for someone like me. Sound familiar? These beliefs sink deep into your subconscious and form your inner scripts. They don't yell, they whisper, but they guide your every action, whether you realize it or not. Why does this matter? Because if deep down you believe money is dangerous or immoral, then no matter how much you earn, you'll unconsciously push it away. You'll spend it all. You'll sabotage deals. You'll avoid big opportunities. You'll delay. You'll attract the wrong partners. You'll make one wrong decision after another, not because you're incapable, but because your mind is scared to be wealthy. How do you break free? Simple, but not easy. You have to sit down and write out every negative belief you've ever held about money. Things you've heard, things you've thought, things you've felt. Then one by one, rewrite those beliefs. Instead of, rich people are greedy, write, wealthy people create value and impact. Instead of, I don't deserve money, write, I deserve to be rewarded for my effort, value, and responsibility. Repeat these every single day, like you're reprogramming your mind, because you are. Only when you believe that wealth is safe, positive, and worth pursuing can all the strategies we've talked about actually work. And once you let go of those old toxic beliefs, you'll feel lighter about earning, investing, and even talking about money. But that's when another trap shows up. A trap that destroys the wealth of high-income earners across the world. Lifestyle creep. That slow climb where your spending rises with your income. You tell yourself you're rewarding yourself, but really, you're quietly walking yourself back to square one. And that's exactly what we'll tackle next in principle number 8. Principle number 8. Don't let lifestyle creep rob you of your future. I once knew a guy named Alex. He built a successful startup within 2 years. From earning $900 a month at an office job, he became the CEO of his own company, pulling in nearly $50,000 a month. So what happened next? New car, penthouse apartment, designer clothes, luxury vacations, endless parties. At first, everyone said he deserves it. But within just 18 months, he went bankrupt. Not because his business failed, but because he spent like the cash would never stop flowing. And when the market shifted, he had no reserves left to survive. What is lifestyle creep? It's when your spending rises with your income until it outpaces your financial growth. You think you're living better, but really, you've just become a slave to money on a more expensive level. You're not broke in an old car anymore. You're broke in a luxury car. You're broke in style, but still broke. And the worst part? You've lost the ability to live lean. So when life hits hard, you fall even harder. How do you escape this trap? Here's the ironic truth. The longer you keep your lifestyle simple, the faster you'll reach real financial freedom. When your income increases, don't increase your spending. When you make more, invest the excess. Don't burn it. Most importantly, don't live to prove you've made it. Instead, prove to yourself that you can say, I don't need what everyone else thinks I should have. That is real power. That is the highest level of financial control. And once you master the ability to say no to lifestyle inflation, you'll begin to see the real money game for what it is. If you don't manage your personal finances like a business, you won't go far. You need to know what's coming in, what's going out, and what your strategy is, not just guesses and hope. You have to run your life like $1 million company. And that leads us directly to principle number 9, the shift that will completely change how you manage money day to day. Principle number 9. Run your life like a successful business. I once mentored a young entrepreneur named Tony. He was talented, passionate, and his company was growing fast. But just 2 years in, Tony burned out. Not because his business was falling apart, but because his personal life was a financial disaster. He made good money, but he had no idea how much he spent each month. No one was tracking his living expenses. No personal financial plan, net profit in his own life. Your life is a business. Just think about it. You're the CEO. Each month, you generate revenue, salary, side income, business. You have expenses, rent, food, debt, entertainment. You have assets and liability. Make a profit or you don't. Most people work hard, but never stop to ask, am I actually profitable? They just live without managing. They just spend without tracking. They just accumulate without analyzing. A simple but life-changing solution. Minimized a personal profit and loss statement, a basic spreadsheet or finance app. Track your income, expenses, debts, and investments. At the end of every month, add up all your revenue and expenses. At the end of every month, ask, did the company of my life make or lose money this month? Last, more importantly, am I living by design or just reacting day to day? Tony made a shift. He hired a financial assistant. He started tracking every expense, planning his quarterly budgets, and just 6 months later, he had saved enough to invest in real estate. But more importantly, he no longer felt stressed about money. And here's what's even more powerful. Once you start running your life like a business, you realize something deeper. No business grows alone. You need a team. And the same is true in life. Wealth is not a solo sport, it's a team game, where rising tides lift all boats. When you help others grow, you grow too. And that's exactly what we're going to explore next in principle number 10. How to build a circle that elevates you, multiplies your value, and accelerates your mission. Principle number 10. High tides raise all boats. Help others rise, and you rise too. When I was younger, I held a dangerous belief. If I teach others to be as good as me, they'll surpass me, and I'll be replaced. So I kept everything to myself. I did it all: strategy, operations, sales, even the tiniest tasks. I thought that was how I protected my position. But the truth? I got stuck. Every day felt like a lonely loop. No one to share the load, no one to carry the weight with me. I became the bottleneck in my own business. Then came a turning point. A friend, an experienced CEO, once told me, "You're trying to keep your own boat afloat, but if you help raise the tide, every boat rises, including yours." That one sentence changed how I saw people and leadership. I started investing in people. 2, I trained them to become better than me. 2, I helped them reach their personal goals, to listen to their dreams and work to align them with our company's mission. The secret of great leaders. They don't build empires for themselves. They build foundations so others can grow within that empire. You want to retain top talent? Don't just offer a raise. Ask them, "What's your dream, and how can this company be the platform for it?" When you create a space where others shine, they'll do the same for you. They'll elevate you. And that's exactly what happened. My business took off. My team became tighter, stronger, more loyal. And I learned a fundamental truth. Wealth doesn't come from hoarding. It comes from sharing and multiplying. And once you have a strong team, a thriving human ecosystem, you start making real money. So much that you begin to ask, what is money, really? Does it actually make me happy? Because here's the thing. Many people get rich and then lose themselves. They climb to the top of the mountain, only to realize it's not the right mountain. And that's when you need to go even deeper, to understand the principle that can anchor your success with purpose. That's what we'll explore next. Principle number 11. Money is a tool, not the destination. Let me tell you a true story. When I sold my first company, I was just 28. And just like that, I had millions in my bank account. I took an early retirement, travel, supercars, luxury homes, parties. I tried it all. But then one morning, I woke up, stared at the ceiling, and felt nothing but emptiness. I have everything, but I don't feel happy. I'm free, but it feels meaningless. That's when I realized money is not the goal. It's just the vehicle. You don't need money just to have money. You need money to buy back time, time with your family, your health, your dreams. Create freedom of choice, to work out of passion, not pressure. Amplify your impact, to give, to build, to lift others up. Money is tool. How much money do you make? It's, what are you using your money for? Is your money working for your life, or are you working for your money? Because once you see money for what it really is, a tool, you stop chasing it blindly. You start designing your life around purpose. And that brings up an even deeper question. If money isn't everything, then what truly matters? The answer? Relationships. Because true wealth isn't measured by your bank account. It's measured by the quality of people who shape your life. And that's exactly what we'll dive into next. Principle number 12. Your network is your net worth. Relationships are your greatest asset. I used to believe I could do it all on my own. That if I was smart enough, worked hard enough, and stayed focused, I could make it, solo. But I was wrong. A painful lesson. Once, I was invited to consider investing in a promising tech startup. The founder was a genius. The idea was years ahead of its time. But I didn't know him, and he didn't know me. That startup? It later got valued at hundreds of millions. But I wasn't in the first funding round. Why? Because I wasn't in the room. I wasn't in the network. A friend once told me something powerful. If you want to know where someone will be in 5 years, look at 2 things: the books they read and the people they spend time with. That hit me hard. I looked around and realized, no matter how big my dreams were, if I was surrounded by small thinking and fear of change, I'd get pulled down too. So what did I do? I intentionally upgraded my circle. I joined high-level masterminds. I invited smarter people to coffee. I paid to learn from million-dollar minds. At first, I felt like a fraud, like I didn't belong. But that discomfort forced me to grow. I learned to speak like them, think like them, decide like them, and eventually, I became one of them. To whale a ships, create the loop. I invested in people. They expanded my vision. That vision made me more money, and that money gave me access to even better networks. See the pattern? You don't get better first and then meet great people. You meet great people so that you can get better. The Stapich, ask yourself, are you in rooms that challenge you to level up? Who in your life pushes you to think bigger? Who forces you to leave your comfort zone? If no one comes to mind, it's time to clean up your circle. Because once you step into new rooms, when you connect with people who think bigger, dream deeper, and act bolder, you'll notice something. They're not just talking about money anymore. They're talking about meaning, about what drives them, about why they do what they do. And that's the next level. That's what we're about to dive into next. Principle number 13. Define your why. Know the real reason you take action. There was a phase in my life when I felt empty, even though I was at the top. My net worth had exceeded every number I once dreamed of. My business was growing steadily. People congratulated me every single day. But inside, the fire was gone. A conversation that changed everything. I remember meeting my old mentor. I said to him, I don't feel excited anymore. Everything's fine, but it's like I've lost my drive. He smiled gently and asked, have you redefined your why? I had no words. I was silent. I called it employer at the beginning. I was powered by dark energy. I wanted to prove myself. I wanted recognition. I wanted to silence the doubters. That kind of energy is strong, but it's heavy. It burns fast, and it won't take you far. To go the distance, I needed a why that was bright, deep, and human. Something that would pull me forward even when I had no strength left to push. I was raving live. I wanted to teach the lessons I wish someone had taught me at 20. I want to help people like me, tired, broken, hopeless, rise again and believe they can. Your why is your compass. When your why is clear, you don't get lost chasing shiny opportunities. You don't dread waking up every morning. You stop craving outside validation. You work because it aligns with your mission. If tomorrow was your last day, I often ask myself, if I knew 5 p.m. tomorrow would be the end of my life, what would I do? I know the answer. I'd hug my kids tightly, hold my wife's hand, call my parents, and say, thank you. This life was worth living. And that's why I still wake up at 4 a.m. every day, not for the money, but because of a reason far bigger than anything outside of me. Reeled. You've just heard 14 principles, not just to make money, but to live a truly rich life. I don't share these because I'm perfect. I share them because I've fallen hard, and I've learned how to rise again. I share because I know there's someone out there struggling the same way I once did. And if what I've learned can help you save 5 years, 10 years, or even a lifetime, then I'll share everything I know. Remember this. Don't be afraid to start over. Don't be afraid to dream bigger. And never forget, this life is yours. You can rewrite the story anytime you choose. If this video helped you, share it with someone you believe needs it most. And don't forget to subscribe. We're just getting started on this journey together. See you in the next chapter.